Well, we've read a moment ago from Psalm 19, which speaks of creation and of creation speaking. The heavens declare the glory of God. The firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. Many years ago, when we were back in Scotland, the house we bought was, it had never really been developed, certainly the garden, and in the back corner was a huge mound of, well, who knows what. It was turned out to be stones and earth and rubble, and had a great big ash tree growing on top of it, and all this. And we spent many hours digging down this heap, sifting the stones, getting out the soil, because there wasn't much soil anywhere else in the garden, and separating it from the stones. So if you can imagine thousands and thousands of stones as we did this process. And Paul, our son, was just little then. I don't know, he was maybe about 5 or something like that. And he was helping, as little ones do. Well, he was helping, I'm sure he was helping. And so the process was you should put a couple of spade loads of stuff in a sieve. You sieved it, the earth went through the sieve, and you chucked the stones. And all of a sudden he says, "Daddy, what's this?" Amongst thousands and thousands of stones, he pulls one out. And the reason he did so was that it was a cylinder. To this day, I don't know what it was. It was hard, dark, but cylindrical. Why did let's say he was 5 years old, why did my 5-year-old son, amongst the thousands of stones that we had, pull one object out and ask, "What's this?" Because there was something about that particular object that it had the hallmark of handiwork, didn't it? It's a cylinder. Somebody has been at work on this particular object. All the others are random stones. But that particular one was clearly shaped. It was designed. It had some purpose. I don't know what it was. But you could see. In other words, it spoke to a little boy. I didn't have to say anything to him. He was the one that asked the question, "What's this?" It provoked that inquiry. When we look out on the creation, we should be, as it were, provoked, shouldn't we? In the same way, when we see beauty and order and design all around us, the creation is speaking to us. It's telling us that there is a creator, there is a God who has put it all together and done so most wonderfully. This is what the psalmist, this is what David is saying here in Psalm 19. It's a nighttime psalm. He writes it as he looks up into the night sky. He sees the heavens declaring the glory of God, the firmament showing his handiwork. It is a most amazing thing to look up into the sky at night and to see the stars and to contemplate what is out there and the vastness of it all and the beauty of it all. And it speaks glory then. The heavens declare the glory of God. And he says here that, in a sense, the creation speaks every language. It doesn't matter what our language is, the creation speaks to us in our own mother tongue. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. Wherever you go in the world, whatever country you end up in, whatever the language may be that they speak there, the creation is speaking to that people group. Paul, the apostle, quotes this very psalm in Romans chapter 10 as he speaks of God speaking to us through his creation. And then a few weeks ago, we were working our way through Psalm 139, and there's something similar there when we look at our own bodies. You remember these wonderful words in Psalm 139, verse 13, "You formed my inward parts, you covered me in my mother's womb. I'll praise you, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well." In Romans chapter 1, the Apostle Paul, again, he says the same thing. It's just different words when he puts it like this: "For since the creation of the world, that's God's invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." There's an invisible hand evident in the creation. There's absolutely no excuse for those who say, well, we're atheists. People say, well, I see no evidence for God. Well, open your eyes. Look around you. Just look in the mirror and see the evidence for God. God's invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. His eternal power and Godhead or deity. Only God could do these things. And it moves us to worship. And interestingly, in that very passage of Romans chapter 1, Paul is making the point that some in their folly and darkness, professing to be wise, have become fools and changed the glory of the incorruptible God into an image made like corruptible man, birds, four-footed animals, and creeping things. And so if we don't give our worship to the true God, we end up giving it to gods that we make for ourselves. Well, as Christians, we, by God's grace, know this true God, and it should always excite us to make discoveries and to study his creation. There's a lovely verse in Psalm 111 which puts it like this: "The works of the Lord," this is Psalm 111 verse 2, "the works of the Lord are great, studied by all who have pleasure in them." It's right, it's good to take pleasure in the works of God. Many years ago, I think it was soon after we came here to Dudley, there was a creation conference, and Andy McIntosh gave one of the talks, and he talked about the wonders of the human ear. Some of you might have been there. I can't remember now all the details, but I do remember the impression that it made on me, how moved to worship I felt by just considering the incredible complexity and wonder of the human ear. Perhaps we should get him to come and give that talk here one day. I don't know. But I'm not trained as a scientist, but I did want you just to get a feel for something of this. And I came across, it must be 2 or 3 years ago now, I came across an Answers in Genesis video, and I'm going to ask Mark to get that up and running for us, which shows us something of the wonder of God's work in human cells. Well, not just human cells, but animal cells. The mystery of how they work. Now, you'll not remember it all. I can't remember it all. You'll not remember all the names and all the processes, but just to get a sense of this. You see, evolution says, well, it's all, give it long enough, give it millions of years and anything can happen. But it's, well, they say, don't they, that how long would it take to sit a monkey down in front of a typewriter and get him to type the works of Shakespeare or something like that. And you know, the possibilities are absolutely infinitesimally small. And so it is with the formation of life. It's so complex. So so without further ado, let's set that running. Can we